Today's broadcast is presented in a special format. We invite you to delve into the story of Harrison Vanderbilt, the creator of Joyville, a man whose dream turned into a tragedy for many. Our team has pieced together his monologue, originally recorded during an investigation. For the first time, we'll uncover what was hidden behind the world of fantasy and, even more importantly, the shadows of the past that came to life in Joyville. Millions of listeners have tuned in to hear the story of a man whose great dream of a world for children ended in sorrow. Harrison Vanderbilt's journey reveals the truth behind Joyville and the shadows it cast over his life and those it touched. Harrison's life began like many others, with people in his childhood whose actions left deep marks. Not all of these marks were born of love. Some were shadows that seeped into his soul. His family, by his own account, was distant. An older sister who seemed caring and kind at first revealed a darker side, using manipulation to control and belittle him. Her attention wasn't born of affection, but of a cunning desire to exploit his mistakes and weaknesses. Harrison became a pawn in her games. His mother, too, was far from ideal. Her care for her son never eclipsed her other interests. After his birth, she appeared indifferent, leaving Harrison with a sense of insignificance that followed him throughout his life. This feeling lingered, a shadow cast over every aspect of his existence. As he grew older, adolescence brought new challenges. Harrison encountered another figure who would leave an indelible mark on him. This individual, embodying discipline and harsh perfection, treated Harrison with a cold detachment. To him, Harrison was an object, something disposable. This harshness, combined with his sister's manipulation, seemed to echo the same cruel message. You are nothing on your own. Years later, Harrison's desire to create Joyville was driven by a yearning to provide children with what he lacked in his own youth. He envisioned a place where children could feel safe, where friendship and joy thrived. But creating such a world required more than imagination. It required Harrison to breathe life into his creations, unknowingly infusing them with parts of himself, parts he didn't fully understand or perhaps feared. The mascots of Joyville became more than just companions for children. They absorbed aspects of Harrison's memories, his emotions, his past. Initially, they seemed like harmless reflections of character, but over time, they changed. These creations couldn't remain purely kind. They carried within them fragments of Harrison's shadows, subtle habits, gestures, and glances, echoes of his own painful memories, manifested in the mascots. They began to represent the very things Harrison had tried to forget. What Harrison didn't realize was that these creations were not merely playful inventions. They were deeply tied to his past, carrying the weight of his unresolved fears and anger. They were meant to bring joy to children, but instead, they became nightmares, hunting the very people they were supposed to protect. Harrison's dream of providing children with what he had been denied was noble, but it was tainted by his inability to escape his past. Everything he created was rooted in the shadows of his childhood. The mascots, intended to be symbols of light and protection, became reflections of the darkness he couldn't leave behind. They carried his ghosts, and he failed to see it until it was too late. Harrison Vanderbilt's story is a cautionary tale of how the past can haunt even the brightest of dreams. His creation, Joyville, was meant to be a beacon of hope for children, but it became a prison for his own unresolved demons. The tragedy of Harrison Vanderbilt lies in his attempt to escape the shadows of his past, only to find them woven into the very fabric of his greatest work. Harrison Vanderbilt, a man who dreamed of a pure world for children, inadvertently resurrected the shadows of his own life. Joyville became not a sanctuary, but a mirror to his broken hopes and unhealed wounds. Perhaps this is the ultimate tragedy of dreamers. In trying to escape their inner demons, they often find only their shadows, only the